Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, where we happen to be. Welcome to another edition of Montreal by Night. The scene is set actually with a lot of havoc going around, all at the same time, actually. Um, just a few hours previously, Maurice, as well as Jacob Burns, are sort of mumbling to themselves, grumbling to themselves, kind of bored, wanting something to do. Burns went ahead and made a joke about going ahead and do a panty raid. Maurice, for his part, thought that was fucking childish, but then when he really started thinking about it, still thought it was childish, but continued to do it. Because he himself has a very, very childish nature. So what they decided to do was they decided to roll up to this little sorority house, the VOA. It's not really the most popular sorority there is out there. It's more academic, less socialite. Actually, one of their biggest contributions to the campus happens to be Pigs Day. These are the future farmers or future wives of farmers of America. Live big, girls. In any case, a few minutes previously, our good friend Jacob Burns decided to finagle his way into the building using the wonderful powers of Dominate. Him being scant for blood, decided to partake of several of the co-eds. Maurice, for his part, decided that this party needed a little bit livening up. So what he did was he went ahead and walked over to one of the local animal hounds, decided to rile up the beasts there, and sort of lead them, over to the fucking sorority house. Imagine the mother's, the matriarch's surprise when she opens her front door and about 5 Dobermans decide to pounce on her and rush into the building. All the sorority sisters at this point are up in arms and running away, some of them only half clothes, thanks to our good friend Mr. Burns over there. They continue to the rest, they continue to scream, ah, 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 ah. And Burns, I believe you were doing something more to cause more havoc.
Oh, yes, 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 indeed. There's one particular girl there that Jacob has taken a shine on. She seems to be the one that no one really likes. It seems that she's the, what do they call it? The pledge? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob has decided to whisper into her ear, you know, sweetheart, you really need to teach these bitches a lesson here. You deserve some respect. What I want you to do is to take all their toothbrushes, scrub the toilets with it. Don't worry, no one's going to see you. No one's going to see you. Scrub the toilets with it, preferably in water that's already been urinated upon, and we'll see what happens later on. But of course, that's just, my humble opinion. Jacob is thinking to himself, wouldn't hurt if they caught some infection, rush them to the hospital. Who knows?
You'll probably hear a lot of barking and hooting, hollering in the living room, actually, as Maurice, for his part, is sort of strolling in the havoc that's currently behind him. Desks, tables, vases, that nice chandelier, all going down. Crash, glass. The girls running around, some getting cut by the broken glass, some of them rushing over. For some fucking reason, the pledges have started to rise up against their sisters that have been abusing them. One of them is currently poking them, well, with a spoon, actually. She's gone ahead and weaponized this little spoon and started whacking people that come next to her, going, that guy was right! You guys are bitches! And getting more havoc and chaos.
Maurice, Jacob says, Maurice,
Mm-hmm.
I should be expecting the delivery boy soon. I went and ordered us a pizza. Also, I've acquired this camera. I, for my part, have I've always wanted to get into films.
Are we seriously doing this now? Are you gonna start running your fucking camera over this kind of nonsense? You'll see one of the sisters in not but her underwear trying to calm down the pledge that currently has the spoon, going, now, Macy, just calm down. Like, ow!
Well, why not?
Meanwhile, in a corner, unbeknownst to the rest of the people in the room, is an obfuscated Nosferatu just watching the whole thing going on.
Why not, Maurice? I mean, they have the spoon, I've got the camera, the pizza boy's on his way. I say that this is a movie ready to be made.
Maurice is going to go ahead and stand on the other side of the camera as the matriarch, the woman of the house, is trying to calm everybody down. But as she does so, she's getting like really fucking dragged away by a few of the bigger dogs. Like, yeah, stop it, Macy! What the hell? No! Ah! Some people are starting to bring out their cell phones actually and starting to record all of this nonsense.
Ma'am, please don't scream, Jacob will issue. His dominate, so she, at least will comply and not cause too much more noise for the poor neighbors that have to suffer all this mayhem.
Meanwhile, one of the sisters, having seen this, is actually starting to get her cell phone out and is starting to record this nonsense. She's calling the cops. At least campus security.
Oh dear. Maurice, what do you think we should do? Should we let them in, or should I just halt this right now?
Dude, we're kind of having our fun here. If we stay any longer, we're going to get caught up in all this nonsense. I'm willing to just go.
All right. Well, I guess the pizza boy's going to go without a tip tonight.
It's like, you actually ordered fucking pizza? Maurice says as he tries to find the back entrance to this place. By the way, the back entrance leads onto a wonderful little porch. And just outside the porch, you can see a fantastic pool which this time is currently covered up. It being the winter and it being the exact most terrible weather for it, it's covered up in a tarp.
Jacob will follow. I suppose you're right. We don't need to get ourselves into any trouble.
From the living room, there happens to be somebody running, somebody charging, somebody with apparently a fucking chair trying to tackle or pin down one of these dogs. She unfortunately goes ahead and charges through the glass panes of the porch. Maurice goes ahead and sidesteps, and as she does so, she herself is going to dive in, unfortunately, to that chilly fucking water. Maurice just goes ahead and looks and simply says, she's going to get hypothermia.
Poor dear. Well, waste not, want not. Jacob will go over to the pool. He'll take her by the hand and try to lift her up. And putting his arms around her like, oh, that's all right. Don't worry. I can keep you warm. He'll sink his fangs into her neck, draining just a few blood points, and then let her slowly slump down, and he'll push her back into the water.
That's cold.
It is
Marissa, as far as going to start walking far beyond this house, is actually going to reach the fence on the other side and just sort of hoof it over.
Jacob will do his running jump and try to somersault over it. Maybe he doesn't clear it too well. Hits his foot on the fence. Motherfucker! Damn it!
You gotta learn how to stretch, man. You gotta learn how to stretch. We find ourselves in the in one of the back sideways of this particular campus as Maurice is going to go ahead and help Burns up from his particular predicament and continue to walk on. Far, far into the distance, there are the telltale signs of the red and blues.
Meanwhile, the still obfuscated Nosferatu makes his way quietly, avoiding contact with the environment, following the two Canaanites. Trying not to make a peep.
Oh, you are much more quiet than us, my dear girl. You are good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so Maurice, there's a little bit of information that came across my way. Something that I think you and me might actually enjoy.
Hmm.
To admit, it is so strange that it may be very dangerous.
Just because something was dangerous doesn't mean it wasn't worth doing.
I spoke to Lady Labusa a few nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
She informed me of the whereabouts of the Scorpions and told me that they were in Maryville. Have you ever been there?
Maryville. I myself, unfortunately, haven't been around in the area, so I would know. No, I've never been.
Well, neither have I. Oh well, hoping I could get some information on the place. But from what I learned, there's some strange happenings going on in Maryville. She told me that her and her pack have, well, they made acquaintances with a older pack, a pack of La Sombra. And together they have been investigating some kind of strange cult that has been established there. At least that's my inference of it. But what they have experienced is some, how do I put this, dimensional shifting force. They went into a church, and the church was, well, completely different when they entered it. They saw the world change. As a matter of fact, Maurice, have you ever played the game Silent Hill?
I remember playing the second one on the Xbox, actually. That was really fucked up. I never really thought that censored for spoilers. That's just fucked up. Why would he do that?
Indeed. But that was Labusa's description of what her and her pack saw.
What, was there an actual change in the environment fairly radically with the rust?
Yes, she described it as a world of blood and rust.
Well, that sounds like somebody who's been ritualistically burned and then forced to give birth to God. Yeah.
Hmm.
Continue. They walked into this church. They found hell. Continue.
Well, I believe, if my memory serves me right, sorry, there's been so many going on, so my memory might be failing me, but they walked into this church, and as I recall, what they found was the, what might be these cult members who were there worshiping. I believe they were gone the moment the world shifted back to normal. I think they were only there to witness something. Whether they could have interacted with it or not, I'm not too sure.
Okay, so you got this pack led by Labusa called the Scorpions. They meet up with this older La Sombre pack up in Maryville. They find this church. They walk into the church. They find hell, and hell might have a message for them.
Indeed.
Okay, that's fairly interesting. What do we think we get out of it?
Well, I, for one, would like to meet these older members of the clan. Like to pick their brain, perhaps see what knowledge they might share with us, or knowledge for us to take.
Ooh, that might actually be really, really great for your own research, actually. Now that I think
Mhm.
about it.
And if they are older, they may be more well connected. Helping out in such a situation might actually be a boon for us.
Hmm. So you think if we help them in their investigation, they'll go ahead and give us a hand job down the road?
Hmm, yeah, you could put it that way.
Fair dues, if just to talk with these people. I mean, Montreal's nice and all, but I got my wandering legs on. I'm a gangrel after all, vagabond. Been in one city for too long to get edgy.
Understandable. But the nature of this place is there's a particular person that the priest of the Scorpions, I believe, had found to be the center of this cult. James, James something, can't really recall his last name. Now, I don't believe Labusa knows exactly the nature of this man. Cainite? Perhaps not. With already what we have going over here, Montreal. I don't know, with the whole Megadon situation, I think it would be best if we forego any further investigation. Did you know, by the way, that Lord Zarek had an unkind visitor by some we presume to be humans? They were stalking his clinic.
Hmm. No, I did not realize. As far as the Megalodon situation, it's about time for us to either storm the place, take what we can, or just leave it to its own devices for a few more months.
I'm
Did
in
you know
full.
that? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I know exactly what's going on, and I told Dahlia exactly what she should be doing with her ghoul. I told her to fucking castrate the bitch, but she got a fucking heart. She had a heart on for it. I don't understand. She wouldn't. If he doesn't have a cock, he can't reproduce, and then he can't create more monsters. I've got sound logic here, right?
Well, yes, yes, that's very sound. I would just ask, what's the pretext for the assumption that he would create more monsters?
Um. Okay. You know how we have this strange spiral design throughout this entire investigation? Well, from what I heard from Damria, what we heard from Damria, I kind of assume that the black spiral happens to be some sort of marker, a uh, a marker that isn't represented in physical structure, but a behavioral one. I believe that if a person has certain genetic markers, they, for some odd reason, will go ahead and mark themselves with the black spiral, if only to be identified by other people looking for the black spiral in order to be connected with potential mates in order to reproduce and create monsters. And I only come to this assumption after watching a porno.
Hmm.
The original porno that our good ghoul went ahead and showed us the first time.
Huh. Interesting. You know, I did share the information of our investigation with Labusa. She herself believes fully that what we are looking at is a matter of lupines, the werewolves. I don't know too much further about their kind myself, but, well, she said that sign was a designation of some sort of subculture or tribe of these mutts.
You don't want to deal with lupines. I don't want to deal with lupines. If they're in
No.
the city, and if they're in the Megalon building, if we're really gonna do this, we kind of need to go ahead and storm the place, raid the place, shoot everybody up. Well, we don't have to shoot everybody up. We shoot the important people, especially that Knox fellow. Somebody should put 2 bullets in Knox's head, and we'd be done with it.
Yes, I fully concur. So, this does represent some problems. If your theory is correct about Lady Nice's ghoul, if he was some kind of, I don't know, latent lupine, or have some strain of werewolf blood within him, you've made a very sound judgment call and asking for him to be castrated.
Yeah, the thing is, I couldn't convince Dahlia to go through with it. Tried my best, but couldn't.
What is your suspicions of this ghoul of hers? Do you think he knows his true nature?
I do not. I believe that she is fairly. I believe that he is fairly loyal to his Dometer, and I believe that he is fully ignorant of his own heritage. But I also believe the potential is there.
Maurice, I say this to you in confidence, from one Sabbat to another. While I bear no ill will towards Lady Nice, if you yourself believe you may need assistance in doing what's good for the sect, I will lend you my aid, even if that means we may have to step on Lady Nice's toes, if you catch my drift.
Well, it's for her own good. I'm hoping to at least convince her of a few things, but I don't think. Here's the thing. If it comes up again and you happen to be in the room, voice your opinion and we'll go and do our business.
Very well. Very well.
Sometimes Lady Nice is too nice for her own good.
Has Lady Nice taken up the responsibility of appointing a priest for your pack, or is she still handling all of that matter herself?
At this moment, the pack organization of the Strays is triangular. We have very few members, and if Miss Nice must go ahead and handle the spiritual as well as the spiritual well-being of the pack as well as the leadership of the pack, so be it. I'm way too reckless to have any sort of position.
Oh, that is completely her call as Ductus. But in your assertion that she is too nice, perhaps you could recommend her taking some, how do I put this? Some spiritual guidance from the Archbishop herself.
That's actually not too bad of an idea. I mean, I need to convince her that a ghoul is simply a ghoul. It's property. I mean, you might like the dick, but that dick isn't his.
Exactly. And it's not like she can't reattach it whenever she pleases.
Exactly. How do you think we were going to get it off in the first place? I can't believe we're talking about castration via flesh crafting.
I'm not surprised. Why are you?
And Maurice is going to go ahead and let that hang in the air for a little bit as they continue walking. But yeah. Maryville might be the right call. I mean, there might be something up there that we want. And as far as the Megalodon investigation is concerned, meh. Actually, tell me more about this visitor that Zurich had.
Oh,
As they continue walking, Rooney follows quietly, as always avoiding all contact with the environment, just listening and taking mental notes on the conversation.
well, the thing is, Zarek had seen. Well, I heard that he got word from one of his ghouls that there was a car that had been loitering outside. He decided to take the direct approach, knocked on the window. He caught wind of something they said. He didn't tell me verbatim what they said, but he essentially has the suspicion that they had not expected to see him drinking a cup of coffee.
Ah,
Odd. And
well,
then when
why
he...
not? He's a doctor. All doctors drink coffee, especially when they're tired, right?
Exactly. Well, they seem to be surprised for some reason. Now, Zarek asks them politely if they don't have an animal that needs tending to please leave. They left. Our new brother Malachi had done some investigating, found their license plate. We ran their numbers. We hacked another computer. Checked the Montreal's equivalency of a DMV. And we found that the car is registered to, lo and behold, one Anthony Knox.
Interesting. I believe the address of his practice, in fact, a few details of his practice would have been upon Zurich's own resume onto Megalodon, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would have been.
So what do we think about that? What do we think about Anthony Knox taking a personal interest in a few candidates into his particular corporation? Do you think he's fettering out spies, competition from the other side, or do you think he knows maybe a bit too much?
If these gentlemen, whom weren't Anthony Knox, I'm sure Lord Zarek would have recognized him, had expected him to not be drinking coffee, then I believe that Mr. Knox is taking a personal interest in maybe to the nature of this potential employee. That being said, I believe Mr. Knox may already have some familiarity with our kind.
Okay, what leads you to say that? Because that's a fairly bad thing to have happen in your city. Anthony Knox is unknown to us. We know that he may represent this pharmaceutical company, which may represent a lupine, lupine and werewolves in suits.
Well, let's put it all together, Maurice. Let's put it all together. Here we have Lady Nice's ghoul as a birthmark or a tattoo of some sort.
Tattooed upon himself by a professional.
A professional. Okay. As a tattoo that is related to lupines via confirmation by another duck tie. We have Tamara's own information from her own eyewitness of a creature within these headquarters that were not totally human. We already have the information that their CEOs seem to express a affinity for the trappings of the occult, gods of chaos and destruction. And now, what we have is someone in a vehicle registered by Mr. Knox taking a very special interest in a new employee. And let us correlate this with the other employee, Mr. Wesley, who had died a very gruesome, gruesome death.
Yeah, I don't think Zara should really take that job. I think he has a brighter future living.
Indeed.
But in any case, that still leads me to believe that we need to go kill some lupines.
Yes. But how do we go about killing a lupine?
Well, presumably this is a oh, for fuck's sake. How do we take out an entire corporation? Because we need to do that first. Once we do that, it's very, very possible that the lupines will become agitated and come out and see us. If they come out and see us, they make a mistake and we can ambush them. But if we actually have to go inside the building and have to dispatch the lupines in there, what's to say that they won't simply come back? Yeah.
That's true. That is very true. But how do we take out a corporation? That is actually, oddly enough, much easier, I would believe. They have investors. They have products that need to be made. They have deadlines. They also have insurance in case anything goes wrong. Anything that would go so wrong that investors would lose confidence and pull out their stock. If we could understand what they are doing, what products of sorts that they have in testing, and we hijack it, tamper it, make it something wholly unsellable, but the whole company goes awash.
I like this idea. That involves us going ahead and looking at what they're shipping, distributing, and manufacturing, screwing over those places, making them take a phenomenal amount of risk, making their investors, lose confidence, making their stock plummet, making their next quarter look all that more awful. And it's not going to destroy the corporation, but at least it'll delay their next moves. And hell, maybe they'll come out and see us.
That is true. That is very true.
So, let's go ahead and find out what their next big product is, or what their main staple is. Find out where they're manufacturing it, where they're distributing it, hit those places, make it look like some random gang violence, and bada bing, bada boom, we fucked them over.
I will try my best to persuade Lord Zarek from taking up this job opportunity, but I don't know. I mean, it seems even if he pulls out now, it would only raise the suspicion even more. We don't really want them to know that we are onto them. But it could be too late for that already.
It's very, very possible that Lord Zara can stay under the radar and pass many, many checks. I don't know how far he'll be able to pass those checks and how much time we actually do have until they are tipped off. So until that time, we have to do this little plan of trying to fuck up their corporation. But I still want to go to Marival! God damn. I want to see the hell world. I don't want to be involved in corporate espionage. God damn it.
You know, You might remember this, but you ever saw the third installation of Men in Black?
No. It's a stupid movie. I knew it was a stupid movie. I didn't go see it.
Well, there was just a little bit of wisdom I found in it. The younger Agent K had told Agent J, when you have a problem that you can't solve right away, just eat some pie. Maybe in Maryville, we can find that slice of pie that we need to find the answer that we are looking for here. I don't know. Something tells me about that might be the move in my gut.
I'd take that one. I think that's a great idea. So, where else tonight? Thinking maybe packing in early, but where else tonight?
Well, I was doing some charity work, Tamara and I, down in the underground city. Might want to go there, pay some hobos a visit. You know, I changed one man's memories around, just enough to make his whole wasted life of alcoholism actually be a spiritual enlightenment. How do I say this? No. A vow of poverty. Yes, a vow of poverty. Seems much happier.
You took his wallet, didn't you? And his credit cards, didn't you?
No, not at all. I took nothing. Matter of fact, I gave. I bought them food. I actually paid for the food.
Oh yeah. Tell me another story.
I'm serious, I did. In cash. That was mine.
Go on, continue this fairy tale.
Well, if you won't believe me, Maurice, just know that I left the man in better ways than when I found him.
Yeah. I believe Maurice as well as Jacob Burns will continue to walk on this particular dark highway, trading jabs and jokes with each other. I have nothing else.
If there's someone lurking in the shadows that would like to add.
At some point you guys might find a rather mangy-looking black dog that you may or may not have seen before. Just like poking around in the distance, glancing at you from time to time. That's about it.
Maurice is going to go ahead and, when he notices that the dog is way too interested in these two canines, he'll go ahead and yell, "Hey, you! Over here! Now!" In Animalism and Feral Whispers. If you would like, we can have a roll-off to see which command he follows. Whether it be yours, which is just simply to watch, or whether it be mine to go ahead and draw him closer.
I don't really feel like doing any rolls right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the dog he'll perk his ears up and he'll take a few steps forward and then he'll trot away.
Alright, fair dues. And they continue on with the rest of their evening. Anybody else want to do anything else, or do we want to close it there?
I'm up for whatever.
I don't really have anything else.
Alright. The two canines will go ahead and walk on this lonely and dark highway. To cause more havoc, maybe. To hunt, maybe. To talk and joke, maybe. But at least for this scene, this particularly small scene in Montreal, we bring it to a close. I hope you all enjoyed.